Most people, if they have heard of oxytocin, have so in the context of birthing a baby or nursing an infant. Some women, after enduring this incredibly intense emotional and physical experience of giving birth, when seeing or holding their child, will proceed to look up to their partner and say, "Let's have another," at which point their partner stares back at them in shock, wondering when the world happened. Just a couple minutes ago, you were saying, "Don't ever touch me again." That's why it's called the forget hormone. Another common response, illustrating why this hormone is called the love hormone, that hampers rational thought, is when a woman holds her newborn up for all to see. He's covered in amniotic fluid and she says, "Isn't he beautiful?" When really, let's be honest, some of these newborns kind of look like Yoda with slime. Of course, we'd never say that, and all my babies were stunning. But if you're going to be objective, well, there's no room for objectivity in that moment, is there? Her first response would be justified to actually be upset with this baby. You hurt me! Her actual response is usually, you touch on my baby, I break your face. She's very protective because she has experienced that instant bonding. I remember speaking with a doctor who delivered over 5,000 babies, and I asked him about the accuracy of the research on oxytocin, suggesting that a woman goes from to oh in seconds. His response? Absolutely. It happens every time. The same oxytocin present in birthing and nursing a child makes an impact as you head down the physical line of intimacy with another individual. Here's a quote from Dr. Luann Bresendine. "Physical closeness produces a tendency to trust and increases the likelihood that you will believe everything and anything that person tells you." While both men and women experience oxytocin, women experience it at a different rate. It can be up to 100 times more, but the minimum is still pretty impressive. It's 10 times more. So a woman will experience oxytocin at a rate 10 to 100 times more than a man. This explains a lot. Oxytocin is also referred to as the hug hormone and the cuddle hormone. Consistent research shows that a 20-second hug will give a woman enough oxytocin in her brain so that she will start to trust that person, whether they're trustworthy or not. 20 seconds is not that long, but it's kind of long, reserved for comforting someone or a long embrace. If you approach to hug somebody and it turned into 20 seconds, think 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. That's probably the average hug. But you know the song by Taylor Swift, Trouble? I knew it was trouble when he walked in. Women usually have red flags signaling trouble if someone is not good for them, unless her compass has been skewed early on through abuse. But if that person is allowed to cuddle with her on a couch or engaged in a 20-second slow dance, that will give her enough bonding that she may not be able to think clearly anymore. The combining of oxytocin with estrogen actually tamps down her red flags and causes her body to ignore the bad news. If you're consistently having those positive physical connections, you're going to build a new bonded relationship. You see, oxytocin is not only an instant bond, it's a values-neutral bond. It doesn't tell you whether the person you're bonding to is a good idea or not. In fact, it starts blinding you to their faults, to the reality of your situation. Have you ever wondered why two people are still together when they treat each other like garbage? Oxytocin doesn't tell you if this person is the kind of person you actually want to trust with your body in the future, if they will be loyal or consistent or honest. It just bonds. Whether you're talking about a long-term relationship or a quick hookup, your brain will attach to that person. This does not include sexual assault scenarios. If a person is sexually assaulted, they experience something more like PTSD. Now, oxytocin is released not just in physical intimacy, but emotional intimacy. When women talk, when they share their hearts, when men talk and share their hearts. But for women, again, it's 10 to 100 times more. Now, the differentiation between the amounts of this bonding hormone for men and women being 10 to 100 times doesn't mean that a man can't be as bonded as a woman. It just means it builds up over time. In fact, he can end up becoming more bonded than a woman. But we have to understand that this is not something that you can say, "Oh, it's just sex. It's no big deal. I don't want to experience this bond." Your brain bonds whether you want it to or not. Since the introduction of oxytocin in a system starts to shut down the skeptical mind and the ability to think critically about if this is a good idea or not, if this person is actually someone you want to bond with or not, then we need to take it seriously. Understanding the power of oxytocin is a game changer. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you would like to hear more about oxytocin, feel free to check on our website, radicalrelationships.love, where you can listen to our podcast on the subject.